Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashemi. Now let's begin with CAF, where CAF have actually approved the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo to be the home ground for Rivers United, who are the only MPFL team in the continent. And now CAF, after inspecting the stadium in Port Harcourt and that of Uyo, now they've finally choose the stadium in Akwa Ibom to host home games for Rivers United in continental engagement. On that note, I welcome you to the show proper, and I have David Oku with me. David Oku, welcome to Sports Update.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here on Sports Update. Yes, for Rivers United, if you'd permit me to delve into it very quickly, it's good that they have had the Nest of Champions, the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, approved for them to carry out their continental games. I think what I saw at the Adoke Amesemaka Stadium can't bring out the best in this. In the turf is not in a condition, where players can play and excel. And not just Adoke Amesemaka Stadium. This is a situation we have all around Nigeria. The current condition of turfs in Nigeria is not good enough. It's not good enough. Yes, we have good turfs, but how many? We need to have this around and well maintained. You look at, if I want to draw parallels with other countries, I'm not going to mention names, a host of the 2025 AFCON. You look at the turfs.
Mention the name Morocco.
Morocco, and you see, what are we having here? We need a maintenance culture, that can come in without people going to, say the turf is not in good condition and you cannot host here. Because when it comes to structures, I think we have them. We have good structures across the country, but the turf, the maintenance in other areas of that structure, it's what's holding us back. So we continue to clamor for good pitches across the country. We continue to clamor for maintenance for our facilities. They don't need to be decayed before we look at them. If you maintain from time to time, you wouldn't need to put up a new thing. You would just need to do a little bit of a rub off and maybe a little bit of plastering here. They call it a palliative work.
Yes,
and that would be
work.
good.
Yeah. Okay, now but looking at it, if we actually want to, because we bidded to host the 2025 AFCON and 2027, and putting one or two things together, when the CAF inspectors came, how many of these stadiums did they visit in Nigeria? They went to Lagos, they went to Uyo. I think they came, not Abuja, they mentioned one other side in the north. Now, do you think some of these structures was part of why, outside the normal voting and politics that is involved? Do you think because we don't have the good turf and good structures, that was why we're denied the hosting right?
Yeah, it could be. It could be a huge factor. And then again, these guys consider other things for which you, the host, that's about it or is set to take inspection, do not know. They consider other things too. But like you've said, it could have been a huge factor, because from where I sit or from where I stand, I don't see Nigeria ready to have hosted a big competition as the AFCON in 2025. I didn't see that coming. So I was one of those who was saying, take this away from them, please don't award them the hosting right. It's not being unpatriotic here, it's being realistic.
Yeah, realistic.
Yes. What we could have used for other things, let's use it to focus on the main areas where we need to improve ourselves, main areas where we need to do a lot of things. I think on this show some time ago, I talked about good roads, which is lacking here in the country. I think we can improve that. Yes, there are good roads, but how many? I'm talking
about just a few, not on the major roads. That's not what I'm talking about. We need good roads, intertwined. We need good roads in the hinterlands. We need good roads in the satellite areas where people who are crowded or are densely populated are coming out onto the main areas to their offices. Not just visitors moving on good roads, here in the major sites and are not seeing what's happening over there. We need these good roads, and I think as citizens, it's a right rather than a privilege that we get this going. And if we get our facilities right, if we get the maintenance culture right, then there's no need, there's no reason why competitions would not be, or hosting rights would not be given to Nigeria, and why competitions would not come here. Yes, why competitions will not come here, we just need to improve on our facilities, build new ones, renovate the ones that are there, and then let us at least go out and say, okay, we are ready to host a tournament. That is what it is all about. It's beyond structures, it's beyond facilities. What are the conditions of the citizens, as in what is the condition of that country, what is your economic standard, and a lot is actually put into consideration before you can be named hosting a host of a competition. And for Morocco, well, they know what it is. That is why they are hosting every tournament that comes their way, and you cannot stop them because they have what it takes to actually even host the whole world. They have what it takes. Okay, let's leave that. A good one that they have eventually at least gave a nod to Uyo to host the Rivers United home game in the continent. And we're still staying with the Nigerian story, but now we'll talk about the Super Eagles, where the camp has been opened for the two friendlies we have against the Falcons, the Green Falcons of Saudi Arabia, and that against Mozambique. Both games will be coming up in Portugal, and the camp has opened last night in Portugal, and a lot of players have come in. If we can have that picture on the screen of the players that are in, okay, let's have we have players in camp already. We have Zoho, we have Buhi, we have Bright, we have Jordan, we have Omeru, we have Ajayi, Basi, Awazim, Bruno, Indidi, Onyedika, Aribo, Iwobi, Chukwueze, Moses Simon, Lukman Haruna, Osimhen, Sadiq Umar, who was calling to replace one of the strikers. We have Murphy, we have Boniface, and the expected arrival tonight will be Onyeka, Iheanacho, Fisayo, and then for the unconfirmed arrival, Leke Ojo and Leye Adebayo. That is the goalkeeper from Israel. But we have quite a number of the players invited to camp already.
Yeah, it's a good bunch, a big happy family, one big happy family, the Super Eagles. It's a good one. The players have come in, some are still expected to arrive. You know, we hope that by the end of today or tomorrow, we can have those guys fill the camp and get set for the friendly, which is not too far away against the Green Eagles, yes, of Saudi Arabia. It's a good one. Some players, unfortunately, have been ruled out injured, but the good thing is that those on the standby have come in. I've seen the name of Tyrone in there, and others, you know, coming.
Sadiq Umar himself.
Sadiq is one man I want to see too. I didn't mention his name, you know, when I talked about a bulk of players that we do have, a bulk of strikers rather, that we have that are in fine form. Unfortunately for Sadiq, he made that move to Real Sociedad after some games. You know, he was out injured, an injury that kept him out for a long time. And to recuperate from an anterior cruciate ligament is not always easy, so he needs more time to come in. I think probably minutes in the camp like this will lift his spirit, you know, moving around, running around, continuous training and working hard to earn the trust of the gaffers there. I love the fact that he's been called in, you know, to replace the injured players. Yes, camp is swelling up. Let's see how we go from there. The Green Eagles or the Green Falcons of Saudi Arabia are a tough side too. You know, well marshaled and well drilled. You saw them at the World Cup, though they didn't make it again into the last of
Renard, the fantastic coach.
Yeah, he's since departed. He left them to coach the French women's national team. Well, I believe it's going to be a tough game because they've got good players and they've got a good run under their belt. One of those is on your CV, beating Argentina at the World Cup. Argentina, who still went on to win the competition. So my eyes will be fixated on that game to see where we can improve, you know, heading into the next one against Mozambique before we take on Lesotho in the quarterfinals.
Okay, in the qualifiers, and for the Super Eagles, you see the players there, and others are expected tonight, and their training will continue tonight for the game against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique. And good one for the players who are in camp, and the expected players tonight, you saw them there, and maybe before the day runs out, probably they will hit the camp, and preparations will continue tonight in the Super Eagles camp. Okay, let's leave that story. Still staying with the Super Eagles, but this time around, FIFA has chosen another Portuguese referee, Guerreiro, to be the officiating referee for the game against Mozambique. That of Saudi Arabia also, it was, though we are playing in Portugal, so you wouldn't go outside Portugal to get a referee. But two fantastic referee has been penciled down by FIFA for this game, and the second one for Mozambique.
Yeah, FIFA gets the calls for the referees right most times. You know, they get it good. Those sometimes the referees, due to human error, might not give us what we expect. You know, like against England at the FIFA Women's World Cup, or it was a penalty all day long on Alozie when an England defender clattered into her. I think the one that was given against us, though the VAR ruled it, wasn't even as serious as the one Alozie suffered. So yes, these referees are experienced, and we look to see how they can perform. We hope that decisions can go our way too. Yes, we also pray for good decisions. If we win both friendlies, it's not to say that we have arrived, but it will put us in the good position, confidence-wise, rankings-wise, and a whole lot wise with Nigeria. You know, our connections with football and the national team, you know, which is a unifying factor here in the country at this point in time where, you know, it's topsy-turvy.
Yes, it's topsy-turvy, let me take from that word, in Nigeria, and with football, which is a unifying factor, and sports in general, at least to lift our spirit. They will be playing against the Green Falcons of Saudi Arabia, and that game against Mozambique. And good one that the Super Eagles will be playing again. It's only painful that after this game, even though they win, when the FIFA ranking comes out already, they dropped in the FIFA ranking, and that is why we find ourselves in pot 2, where probably we will be facing some of the tough teams in Africa. It's even, I think it's good, the draws will be coming up on Thursday. It's good that we are even in that pot 2, because if we had stayed, because we dropped from 40 to 42nd in the ranking, and that pushed up to 6th in Africa, pushing us away from the top 5, and because of that we find ourselves in pot 2. And you know that once rankings also help you to improve whenever there is a competition, we at least will not face some of the
juggernauts.
Yes, in the competition. But now we are in pot 2. Do you think it's a blessing in disguise for us after we lost that? We moved to 42nd in the world.
Not a blessing in disguise. Pot 2, pot 3, pot 1, whichever one, will still have to play teams. There are no easy games in Africa at the moment. But where does pot 2 leave us? It leaves us with the juggernaut. It means we are going to be in a group with a very tough team. But again, if you look at how things are in Africa, like I said, no easy games, so it will make us sit up and more serious. I think we had Egypt at the last AFCON in our group.
Yes, of
which
course.
Other team do we have?
Guinea.
Guinea, and then one other thing which just skipped my head. But we beat Egypt in the opening game by 1 goal to nil. In fact, we were so good in Cameroon in the group stages, 3-3 we won. So I was so surprised and heartbroken. The Tunisians, you know,
I think we were carried away with 3 victories.
Were we? I think things didn't just go Nigeria's way in that game against Tunisia. Alex Iwobi coming onto the field
to get a red card.
All of a sudden a red card, and even when we had the red card, you could see that we were still playing better than the Tunisians. Sadiq Umar, yeah, I now recall, one of those who came on, you know, to give us something. I think he missed an opportunity, a very good chance, which on another day he could have put, you know, beyond the goalkeeper. But that's what football is all about. I think we did so well. So to have lost to Tunisia in Garoua, it was really shattering and heartbreaking for everybody, you know. So these are things we can learn from, that we can control games better. You know, it's not all about, you know, going in as favorites or underdogs. We can control games better, you know,
and
we can sit back better.
The team to play to our own strength.
Yes, even if we go into the latter stages of game, that we can still win games. In the last 10 minutes of games, you can win games. In the last 5 minutes, you can win games.
3 minutes, you can win games.
You can win a game.
Manchester United?
Of course. So we always need to be in control of our emotions, manage the game better, look at the opponents and see where they are weak and to hit on them. I think we can do better and take corrections from our past mistakes.
Okay, and take corrections from our past mistakes. The Portuguese referee will be officiating that game against the Mozambicans at the Friendlies in Portugal. Both games against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique will be happening in Portugal. Okay, let's leave that and come straight to England. Now we're talking about the English Championship, where we have Nigerians also playing in various clubs in the English Championship: Cardiff City, Leicester City. Now one man in Leicester City who is doing so well since they went on relegation, Kelechi Iheanacho, has said there is no cause for alarm between him and Jamie Vardy, that the going is smooth, that he has always said this. It's never a battle with Vardy, according to Iheanacho.
When there is no Vardy, there's no party.
Yes, of course.
You know, that line is what we used when Leicester ran to winning the title back then. From an order, was it 5,000 to 1? No one saw that one coming. Vardy is a favorite at KP Stadium. Kelechi Iheanacho is also a favorite there to lots of people. Yes, when he comes out to say there's no issue between him and Vardy, I believe that. I think it's always a situation where the manager is thinking, can I go with one, can I go with two up top? You know, there would always be that comparison, there will always be that debate, who is starting, who is going to stay on the bench. I think when Brendan Rodgers was at Leicester, he did a disservice to Kelechi Iheanacho. That's what a lot of people have not talked about enough, because at times, even when Vardy, you know, was struggling with fitness, he failed to start Iheanacho. And I think that's what led to their relegation, to be honest, because Kelechi didn't have enough minutes the last season, and Leicester got relegated. It was because the guy was constantly on the bench, and that's why they got relegated. But now to a new season, Leicester are high flyers. In fact, for every game they play in the Championship, I encourage those who are bookies or are betting, play Leicester to win, because they are in fine form. I tip them to return back to the Premier League at the first time of asking, which is not always easy. Probably they've looked at what Fulham have been doing. Fulham go right back and come back again. So why not Leicester, who are better than Fulham, you know? So why not? So I think it's good. What Sri Dana Prava is currently doing there is great. That's the son of Vikai, you know, is good. Yes, Leicester have gone down, but they didn't sell all their players. They kept hold onto some like Ndidi, Iheanacho, Vardy.
It has paid off. Ndidi, Iheanacho, Vardy.
Of course.
These three players, most usually parts in Dakar, they've been churning out results for Leicester City, and Iheanacho has been fantastic. I'm even surprised for Ndidi now playing a new role as leaving the defensive midfield, playing more of the attacking midfielder, supporting the striker out front, and he has gotten some goals this season. I think he's a joint top scorer in Leicester City this season, and then he has a couple of more than 3 assists.
Yes, of course, indeed, he has got a lot to offer. Some people, or a lot of Nigerians, the fans, maybe media, journalists, see him in a particular mode of a player who sits there to break attacks from opponents, you know, that destroyer, it's what they call it. But I see more of him. There was a goal Ndidi scored. Was he on his debut against Everton when he came to England? That was, Ndidi made that move from Belgium to Leicester,
to Leicester City.
It was in the January transfer window, and in the FA Cup there was a superb belter he scored. Every time he's on the edge of the box to release a belter, it's always fantastic. So I'm always thinking this is a player that can offer more to the team moving forward, attacking wise, because of his strength, because of how he carries the ball. So it's a good one that he's contributing to what Leicester are doing this season. Leicester are doing great this season. I even prompted a top journalist from Europe, Guillem Ballack, to go visit them to see, you know, the sort of football they are playing at the moment. What's the name of this coach, you know, there at Leicester now? I can't recall at the moment. Yes, but he's doing great job, fantastic job with the style Leicester are playing this season. Is superb.
Yes, with the style Leicester are playing this season is superb, and one man, Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho, have been fantastic, and I love the new role that he has given to Ndidi. Push up front, you can get the goals, you can support the strikers up front. Okay, let's leave that story and then talk some transfer quickly on the show this evening. Before we go, now we'll talk about the two Manchester's team, but we'll start with they call them the noisy neighbor, Manchester City. Kevin Phillips might be leaving the club in January transfer. This man has not really found it easy with Manchester City since leaving Leeds United.
Yes, nobody would find it easy when he is up against a player in the mode of Rodri. Rodri has been in fine form, and Rodri guarantees consistency, Rodri guarantees fitness, Rodri guarantees that when the least or the first team list is put out there, he's going to be on that list. And that's what has happened, you know, to Manchester City, and that's what has happened to Spain too. Like you can see, Rodri wasn't in a game against Arsenal, and it showed at the end of the day, because those are the kind of games Man City could have edged in the latter stages, but they were unable to, you know,
hold that firepower.
Yes, or subdue the pressure, you know, from Arsenal in the latter stages to hit on the break. So Calvin Phillips has had this competition, and it's not been easy for him. Yes, Pep Guardiola has tried to play him in the odd games here and there, but again, he's a player who would love to start in every game. It's not fair, you know, in football it's not fair and life is not fair. He came to City at a time where he was injured. He was bought from Leeds United and he played all of the games at Leeds. So I was surprised when he came to City and he had this injury which, you know, blighted his appearances for the citizens. So it's not been easy for him. I understand if he's seeking greener pasture or where he can get minutes, you know, and it will be good for him and his confidence, and for England too. Because even when he's on the bench at City, Southgate keeps using it, which I don't understand. You know, you can't play a player who consistently sits on the bench at his club side. Yes, he's playing for City, but at England, we've got people who are playing in his role better and week in, week out for their various club sides. So I think maybe the manager has said to him, come see, you need to go out and look for where you can be playing consistently, because I am not going to pick you anymore. So for Phillips, I understand his position.
Yes, for Phillips, you understand his position. And to add to that, outside Rodri, they went ahead to at least acquire the services of Kovacic from Chelsea. So there's another big competition. And immediately Kovacic came in, he was thrown into the team by Pep Guardiola. Do you think that was a very good move for Pep Guardiola?
Yes, a good move. Kovacic is a direct replacement for Ike Gundogan. I wouldn't say he's an upgrade. Yes, Kovacic is a good passer of the ball, good carrier of the ball into advanced areas, and when he wants to unleash a shot, he does that perfectly well. But I think it's not a direct competition with Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips is a destroyer. Calvin Phillips breaks play
and goes up front too.
Yeah, and goes up front too, but not a player in the mode of Kovacic. He doesn't have or possess the range or other qualities that Kovacic possesses. So I think it was a good move, and it was a good decision for Pep Guardiola to bring on Kovacic immediately when he knew Gundogan was leaving for Barcelona.
Okay, immediately he knew Gundogan was leaving for Barca, and then they went to acquire the services of Kovacic from Chelsea. Okay, before we go on the show, let's talk about another Manchester team, but this time around the trouble. The trouble of Manchester. Their trouble continues, but over the weekend they were able to get the better of Brentford. Now they are keen on getting the services of Sporting Lisbon defender, 22-year-old Goncalo Inacio. Manchester United now, they are looking for all the players they can lay their hands on, and the good thing is they are going for young players, 22-17.
Yeah, it's a good thing they are going for young players, 22-17. For me, if a player is good enough and the scouting does their job on him, then why not go for the player? But I would always tell or talk to Manchester United to look inward, which is the academy in Carrington, because they produce superb players. I can mention a lot that has come through the academy. You know too that they have good crops of academy players
that came through that.
You know, they've started the season with players injured. As I speak to you, Luke Shaw is out injured. Tyrell Malacia is out injured. At a point, Mason Mount was out injured. Rafa Varane has suffered injuries. Even Harry Maguire has suffered with injury. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is out for 2 months. The lone player they brought in Sergio Reguilon was out injured. So which coach
is still out injured? Martinez out injured.
Okay, Martinez, yes, the World Cup winner, the Argentine centre-back, which gives them stability in the left side of defense, is out injured. So which coach can cope with this? Jose Mourinho back in 2007 cried in a press conference. He said he's been crying to the team doctor at 2 a.m. in the morning, please tell me who is fit for the game, because the job is hot on me, the pressure is high. Please, I need someone fit to come in and play the game. That's the cry of Erik ten Hag at the moment, because the injuries have hit him left, right, center. Amrabat, you know, a player who was
came in injured,
and he's been playing at left back. You can see some of the games United have struggled. It has happened with the defensive inconsistencies. You know, when the back line is so depleted, you can suffer a lot. But I hope the win against Brentford is a turning point in the season for them, because they have some, you know, good players coming in from injury. I saw Kobe Mino in training, you know, the other time, and others coming in. So we hope that by the start of the games after the international break, some of the players have come in and might just give the first team or the players in the first 11 a push.
Okay, at least to give the first 11 players in the first team a push. And for Erik ten Hag, he needs to get his heart right with players, because we still have Sancho out because of that issue at boss between him and Erik ten Hag. Okay, that is where we leave it on Sports Update this lovely evening. Oko David, thanks for all you did on the show this evening.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to the viewers.
All right. That is it on Sports Update. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Thanks for watching.